shot for the kill, the breeze cut, freeze up, straight dropping the chills. I'm talking taking over pieces and shares. A bomb break sky high, check the movement is here, yeah. It's one heart, one shot, now the future is yours, go! Turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. The memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. We put the bars in the brakes. I'm talking one chance at best, yes. Painting pictures for the culture, keep the brushes fresh. Flip the cover, work the drummer, passion never rests. Freedom is our teacher under pressure, now we blessed. See, I was so good for the go. It's one art, one shot, now the future is yours. Go! Yeah. It's one art, one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
What is going on, bro? How you doing?
Yo, not too bad. You?
It's another night. I mean, I feel a heck of a lot better than I did last week. I'm actually able to sit down right now, and my back is in pain, but only mildly. I can stand it.
That's good. That's good.
Crazy. I think we're here by ourselves tonight, so we'll just, we'll just talk until people join in. But what'd you buy this
for Black Friday?
Black Friday, man.
Yeah. I didn't buy too many things. I mean, I'm buying stuff all the time anyway, so it's not like I wasn't gonna not buy anything. But I picked up a couple of these like Lexar SD cards. I got a V90 and a V60. These things I think are still on sale too, which is kind of nice. But
you told me about the V90, and I went out and got I got one V90 so that I could do that 120 frames per second S&Q mode on the A7S III, because that is, I love shooting in the 60 frames per second, and now that I have the 100, that V90 card, I can actually shoot in 120. What's up, Thomas Ariels? How you doing, man? You never alone.
Yeah, it's something you could have definitely you could still shoot in 120 frames per second in 4K on the A7S III without this card, but you have to do it the regular way and then like slow it down in post. And
right, and that's what I did. That's why I got my 60 card. But it's just so much. It's S&Q mode is so underrated and so convenient.
Well, the nice thing that's about why you would want to do it S&Q on that mode is that once it renders in camera, it's back to a 24p timeline, so it doesn't destroy my computer when I bring in a 120 frames per second clip. Otherwise, I have to take all those clips, put like proxies on them. It's not fun. My computer is a pretty nice computer, but it can't handle the 120 frames a second, 10 bit. So, but that S&Q is nice. So, yeah, the Lexar V90 128. I think what was it, like $99 or something?
$100. Normally that card is $180. So, and usually I can get the Sony Tough G card for $188 with the education discount for the 128. So I've always been eyeing that card, but once I saw this Lexar card go down to $100, I was like, all right, I just need to pick up one so I can shoot in these higher frame rates. So I'll have one of those and then a V60 card in the other slot on the A7S III at all times. So
I haven't had any issues with any of these. I have like ProGrade and Lexar, and I haven't had a single problem with any of these cards yet. So
Lexars aren't that great with the A7S III. They've had issues. I don't know, but every card that people say they have issues with, like I have this PYN card that's like a really cheap V30 card that I use with the A7C, and I've never had any problems with it. It's like a $17 card, and I feel like it performs just as well as that SanDisk Extreme Pro. So
I personally never had like any issues with SD cards ever. knock on wood. But like, I
Never
don't
have
know.
you.
It's
Yeah.
for $100. I'm gonna. That was an easy decision. I saw that and it was just I like immediately texted you,
Yeah.
and it came the next day, which is nice. So I've already tested it out and it works great. So
Yeah. I ordered mine and it came this. I ordered it on I think on Saturday or something like that, and it came that night. Like I ordered it in the morning and it came that night from Amazon. Just so good.
yeah,
So good.
and then like this one took a day to get the. This is the V60 Lexar 128 gig. They did have this in 256 as well, but I want to say this one was like $40,
Yeah.
something like that. I mean, this thing was a heck of a price. So, every Black Friday, that's like my main thing that I want to get every year is because SD cards always just get cut in half on price for
Yeah.
like 2 days
It's
only,
you
3 days
got
only.
you know?
And I think I did see I got an email from Adorama today that was the 256 gig version of this. I think for $74.
That's pretty good.
That's the V60. So that sale's still going on. So if you guys are wanting to pick up a card,
The
that's a
only
good
thing,
deal.
about 256 is, and I think I told you this over a text. It's like I'm weary to get anything over 128 gigs just because I don't necessarily max it out. I've never maxed out a 128 gig card. I've gotten close, but I never have maxed it out like at least on a 1 day shoot, right? So
Yeah, it depends on if you're doing a lot of S&Q and a lot of stuff like that. But I've always kind of taken it as if you get like one of these SanDisk, like the old school V30 cards, 128 gig card of this will last you like forever. Like you won't have an easy time filling that up. But when you're using all these 10-bit 422 S&Q and all the 10 stuff, 128 gig for that card to me feels more like a 64 gig.
which is actually kind of funny that the new Sony like CF Express Type A cards, like the highest they go is 160 gigs, and you're like, you feel like that was like that would be like the equivalent of like a 64 gig or something, you know?
Yeah, if you're using that card, the data that you're putting onto that card, that's like 30 minutes of footage tops.
Right, if you're actually using it for that full potential, yeah.
So
So
I don't know,
what other deals do you got going on for?
Not really any deals, but like the one thing is we're in. I mean, I don't know. I picked up a bunch of stuff over Black Friday. Most of it wasn't on sale, anyways, but or some of it was just not camera related at all. But there's definitely a lot of stuff that we're coming up to Christmas, and you're going to be seeing on YouTube a lot of like gift guide sets and what to get for your photographer in your life and all that. And to me, those videos are kind of funny because let's face it, they're more often more like, hey, here's the stuff you should buy for yourself.
Because I mean, I don't know. I haven't. Most of this stuff is kind of expensive. It's very hard to find something sub $100, and I don't know how many people would go out and spend more than $100 on me, other than my wife. But if she knows that she's just going to come to me and say, all right, here's your budget, buy whatever you want for yourself. Merry Christmas,
And usually it's for like sometimes gift cards just come into play the best for, whatever camera place or whatever. So.
And Thomas Ariels is a big drone guy, but I think he's gone. I think he left us here. He left us by himself. He said, "You're never alone," and then he left us. But I really like this bag. This has been my daily carry bag for the last year and a half. It's the PGY Tech. I actually have a video on it on my channel, but it's the PGY Tech. It looks very similar to like the Peter McKinnon bag, but this is not nearly as heavy. It's a little bit smaller, so it doesn't hold as much, but it does hold a pretty great deal. It's hard to get this in the shot, but I like the material it's made out of. They have a camo version, but I like this like slick black, and it has like nice red highlights down the side, down the stitching. I like this because it has two doors, so it has the top door, which has the access to your camera, the camera compartment, and then there's another one that you could either use as a separate compartment down here, or this bag also comes with this like nice little carrying cube, and you can slide it right in that thing. And this bag is perfect for droners because, see the size of this? You could fit like an Air 2S in here and your controller, and you can put some like spare batteries and like this little zipper compartment over here. This actually even expands if you wanted it to be even taller, where like this. I usually use this as my, like, when I'm going to the theme parks and I just want to carry around like a camera and a lens. But you can like expand this too if you wanted to, and it like comes up even more, so you could like store more up in this thing, and you can turn it into like a fanny pack, or you can like wear this big long strap around you. So it's a really nice little bag. I've really enjoyed this backpack. And then you said you had a backpack that you also liked. Let's go ahead and show us that one.
So the funny thing is, I actually own like the Peter McKinnon bag, and I own a smaller bag that's mostly supposed to be more of my, like, I'm just going down to the park, I want to put a few things in my bag, and it's like a smaller bag. But lately, I feel like I've actually ended up using this one more, and I travel more with this one just because it's a little smaller. But this is the Hex bag. It's from a company called Hex. It's called the DSLR backloader. It's a tiny little bag, but like, make no mistake, this thing holds almost as much as my Peter McKinnon bag minus the like clothes part. It's a surprisingly thought out bag that actually fits a lot of stuff, and it's got a lot of cool compartments and different zippers, and it's got like a top load, so you can take the camera out the top, which is nice. Some people don't like the clamshell stuff where you have to put it down on the ground and like open them up, but I don't know. I've just liked this bag quite a bit since I bought it. And inside you have all this space for all your like accessories, and then like your camera, lens, another camera body. So you can fit just like, I've definitely, like, when we went out to Duluth, I had my A6400, like 4 lenses. I had the A7S III, and I had a tripod, and I had just everything managed to get inside that bag. And it was nice, though. It's a comfortable bag. The website's called, I think it's just like Hex Bags, maybe. But they make this thing in like camo and green camo and white camo and black. And then if you want the like deeper one, it's the Cinema bag, which is a little bit more money, and that comes with like a waist strap. Otherwise, yeah, the Peter McKinnon bag that's back there, that thing's a beast. I wouldn't necessarily call that a gift for someone, because that's like a $400 bag.
Yeah. But the other bag I like is this one that I took to fly in the plane with you to see you. It's this this Wandered Provoke. This is the original one. So this was a 31 liter, but now they make it even in a little bit smaller 21 liter, and I think they even have even smaller one than that. But I don't know.
Yeah, they make like the
size
sizes.
Perfect.
Yeah. And you see a lot of people with that bag, like that one channel I watch all the time, Kara and Nate. That's like their main bag they've been traveling with for 4 years. So I don't know how they get all their stuff in there, but yeah, if you want to dump $400 on a like super deluxe camera bag, though, the Peter McKinnon bag is pretty nice. And then if you get the expensive one, you get the same thing with like yours, where it's got the pouch where. Well, this pouch is kind of cool because you could put like a drone and battery, camera or whatever you want in there. And then the top, unlike yours comes out with a strap, but this one turns into like a backpack. So you can like actually pull this thing out, and then you have like a little day pack.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
My problem is that like every time I've gone on a trip, I want to bring all my clothes, all my camera stuff, and then you go out shoot. But then it's like once you get there, that bag is kind of obnoxious to carry around to just regular photo shoot stuff because it's so big and heavy. That's supposed to be the idea of this, is that you can put stuff in a smaller bag. But like I said, though, I ended up using that Hex bag maybe even a little bit more than the McKinnon bag just because of that reason. So, and also that Hex bag doesn't really count as a carry-on. So it's just a little bit smaller than the Peter McKinnon. So I can bring that in planes for free. So.
Steve asked, are the snap mounts for the GoPro worth it?
If you're using GoPros, for sure, yeah. David Manning hypes those things all the time. I actually just asked him about a couple things yesterday, and yeah, he's using he has this new rig in his car now that's like this.
I saw that
industrial suction cup mount with a magic arm, which is I'm using mine, and then he hooks that to the magnetic thing. You just pop the thing on there, and it's nice. Anything that's like quick mount like that is awesome, but those magnet mounts seem to be pretty sturdy. So
Those magnet mounts look amazing, and I like the Go 2 how you has a little pendulum thing, and they have the same sort of thing with the GoPro now with those snappy mounts. So like you could like snap a GoPro to your chest and then do like a point of view like photography shooting. That's I kind of I don't know. I want to do a few more videos. Like I think that'd be fun to do some videos like that. Just go like downtown Orlando or something and do some like street photography with a POV, just with a number of my different lenses that I have.
yeah.
I don't know.
The POV photography is fun too. It always feels weird when you're doing it because you're being very intrusive and pointing the camera at people and taking pictures of them. But
Right.
a lot of times you just feel like, how is this like photography? And it just seems weird. Then you get home, you throw them on your computer, and they always look cool. So, but yeah, those snap mounts are pretty sweet. Otherwise, like if you have these like magnet mount or these like clamp mounts, I think this one I just picked this up from Lanzi the other day. I got this for my like ZV-1 because you can't use a magnet mount on that camera, at least that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
So the idea with this thing is I can like mount the camera to this thing, and then I could. The one thing Paul, that I really want to do this year is I want to stop walking and vlogging at the same time. It's something that never seems to ever look good on any camera unless you're using like a gimbal. And even then,
Peter Lindgren makes the vlogs look so amazing, and he, like you said, he doesn't really vlog. He doesn't walk while he does. He always sits down somewhere. So,
yep, yeah, and it's that's the thing is that like when you're holding a selfie stick too, a lot of times you end up doing this thing where you lean back, and then you just get this weird look with your chin and your neck, and that's the one thing. I'm not going to say I'm not going to do it, but I want to start doing the thing where I like plant a camera somewhere, walk up to it, talk to it.
You can do Vlogmas.
No, I don't have time for that.
Steve CWB man. Yes, you probably would make a great model. We should, maybe one time we'll have to go out.
Yeah.
I know one. I say this every week, but one day we'll get together. It's just right now. I got to go to the doctor tomorrow and get my referral to see another doctor because my back is just. Oh, but I'm making it through these few weeks. But yeah.
Well, I got this
vlogging
thing, Paul,
and walking is crazy. That's that mount.
So yeah, it's like a clamp. You can just like go up and like clamp this onto like any pole or stop sign or whatever you're at, and then you can just like aim the camera where you want. And this thing, it's small enough. Unlike some of these magic arms, it's small enough to where you could just quick throw it in your pocket or something. Or even if you really wanted to, I guess you could probably just walk around holding it too. It's not really the most ideal thing to hold like that, but. I just wanted this thing because it's for small cameras like this. It's gonna be nice to be able to just kind of bring it with you, tuck it in your side of your backpack, and
I like
get those weird angle shots.
Walking, it's great, but like you said, you don't really want to like walk around. I mean, it's great. This is perfect angle for walking around, but you don't really want to walk around with the.
Well, the thing is that if you have a camera that's planted still, like statically, everything in your image is going to look as best as it's going to get. When you're walking around and you're adding all this motion, you're adding motion blur, your focus might be jumping around and it just looks shaky and, disorientating. And there's definitely a time and a place to have those spots, but I've been enjoying a lot of different vlog channels now where they put the camera in weird places. And like that Lindgren one the other day, he actually took the ZV-1 and he opened his screen and he like put it behind it was like a cage. And then he tucked the screen around it, and that was holding it on. I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing something like that because they could easily just fall.
That would scare me.
But it's nice to be able to just get weird locations with cameras. Kind of back into the days of like where could you put a GoPro?
Right.
People put them in chip bags and fun stuff like that. So
it is pretty cool.
I figured something small like this, and this is like a $20 thing, so like it's a good gift maybe. If you get this for someone who's a photographer, they're going to find some use for it. So,
Steve, the Vlogmas is pretty much, I don't know, a lot of channels are just trying to do a video every single day in December. That's why they call it Vlogmas, but either a video or a vlog or something every single day. So a lot of channels are starting to do these small little one-offs here.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Lapani is trying to do it, and today his video he had they're all, a lot of these channels are also doing random giveaways throughout the month. So like they're not announcing what what days or what videos are doing giveaways, and they're just trying to entice people to like watch every single one of them and find the one. So I think Anthony Lapani is giving away wireless Go 2 set to one random commenter for his video from today's video. So
it's cool.
Yeah, I always try to win those giveaways, but I'm not lucky enough to get them. But then
I think everyone knows you, Paul, so they're just not going to give it to you. Otherwise, it'll look biased or something. I mean, I'm surprised you won that thing from Sydney.
Oh well, that's because it was more of a question thing, and like not like a.
Oh, that's right. So Sydney has a Discord, and he was doing like a trivia questions for the win.
And,
that's right.
and I got lucky because like a few people answered and they got it wrong, and I was like, well, I know the answer to this. I think I was like the third person to answer the question, and I just. I made you 12 days before, not the whole month. Okay.
I don't have it. I have my SD cards hooked up, but the other thing I would say that I would pick up if you can find a good deal on it before holiday, a good gift is those Samsung T5 SSDs. They're getting really inexpensive right now. I just picked up a 2 terabyte that was like I think I paid like $200 for it.
Yeah, last year I got a 1 terabyte one, so I started with a 500 gig one. And I think I paid like $130 for that one. And then a year later, I got the 1 terabyte one, and it was on sale for like $140 or something like that.
Yeah, the 500 gig one that I bought like a couple years ago, I paid like as much as I just did for the 2 terabyte one. So.
Right, it's crazy. But I mean, did you get the T5 or the T7?
I got the T5 because on my current Mac, I don't have USB-C because mine was a 2016. So it really would be no benefit. I know I should have probably got the other one for future proofing, but they didn't have it at Micro Center where I went and got it. They were out of stock and I needed it that day. So just because I was running out of room on my hard drives all the time. But yeah, those are definitely like great gifts if you want to spend a decent amount of money. You can get anywhere from 500 all the way up to 4 terabyte, I think, on those. So,
and people
depending on how much you want to spend.
I have a 512 gigabyte Mac, and I pretty much edit 100% of the time off of my SSDs because I just don't have enough memory on my Mac, and I didn't want to pay the crazy price to upgrade the Mac to the hard drive space. I don't know if I had to do over, I would probably at least have a 1 terabyte hard drive on my Mac.
Between 2 channels and 700 videos, storage is becoming an issue. I have like 48 videos and storage is becoming an issue. So
I am lucky that I have unlimited Google Drive space through work, so I have no storage issues.
Yeah. I always run my libraries off of my actual native hard drive on this iMac. And some projects I would jump up to like almost a terabyte, like instantly, just with all the edits and VFX I was doing on some videos. And so I had to get to the point where I was like, I need to get like a 2 terabyte total external, just constantly run my projects off of that instead. And it's not as fast as my computer's hard drive, but it still works. So
yeah. And then, just little knickknacks like,
what you got?
I love the Peak Design straps. This is the Slide Light. My wife likes the thinner one. I like the regular Slide. It's like $65. This one's like $50. But I just like the little release, knob into it. It's so easy just to quickly do it. And obviously they have the nice anchor system. So
I think I remember Donna showing off that thing when he got it his. So
what's that?
I remember Donna had, I think he was showing off the Peak Design slide strap not that long ago. It's pretty cool. It seems cool. I'm not a big strap person though. I like, if anything, like wrist straps at the most, but I don't know. I run around with cages and stuff.
And of course, I got to do a nice shout out to, Mr. Rode here. This microphone is amazing. This is the NTG video mic. And coming from, I actually sold my Deity to a guy last week. He took it off my hand. So
Yeah, but
Um,
I'm actually using mine. You got that nice podcaster mic, but I'm rocking the NTG video
I mean, it
right
sounds
now as
great.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this I love that. Like the deity, you had to like turn it on and leave it in the standby mode, and then it would automatically turn on and off, like put it in standby and not really on and off, but like once it's in standby. This one, I just set it on my camera, plug it in, and it'll automatically turn the microphone on and everything. It's I have this, and the shielding is way better. Like I would use my a wireless go to wirelessly send like into the wireless go to my camera, so I didn't have to like run a long cable down a boom pole. And when I'm in my office, and it didn't make any noise with the deity. It was getting some like little like hissing feedback because the shielding isn't as great in the deity.
Right.
So this thing is amazing. I love it. I can't wait to try the. I also have the NTG5, and I can't wait to try that. I need to find a K3M or something.
Yeah, you need to get that windscreen for that thing too. That
I do,
WS11.
yes.
I know it's kind of on a slight back order when I was looking at it before, so maybe it's back in stock. But
and I thought the NTG5 comes with a windscreen, and I thought it would fit on the NTG video mic, but it doesn't.
yeah.
The NTG5 is a little bit thinner, so it doesn't actually fit onto the NTG.
Well, it's weird is that Rode doesn't really advertise that windscreen for that part. Like usually all the other ones, they're like, use this windscreen for this mic. And like, I just know that from like getting that mic long ago, that's what you get for that mic, but they don't like put it as an add-on when you go to buy the mic or anything like that. So, so a lot of people end up buying that like Movo brand one. It has that big like foam boot at the back, which just looks weird and it's adds a little weight, so it kind of pushes the front end that mic down a bit. But it's a great mic. I used to worry about like, oh, want to make sure you charge it, and you get like 30 hours of life out of that thing. But honestly, every time we use it, live stream here, like I'm charging right now as we're talking. So because it's I'm using this as a USB mic right now, and it's charging. So and that's the beauty of this microphone is that you can use it for a camera mic. You can use it as like on like a boom arm if you want, like a studio mic, and you can use it as a USB mic. So it's kind of a trifecta mic, I think. Totally worth that price.
It's crazy. Yeah. I wanted the Sony one. I'm amazed that Peter Lindgren like shoots his videos with his camera so far away from him with that like Sony shotgun mic on it, and his audio sounds as good as it does. I'm like blown away. I was shocked when I saw that. Like I thought like for sure when he was in his studio he was like booming like a NTG video mic or something over his head.
He used to, he used to do that. But I actually asked him that question a while ago, and he said that he recently switched to that Sony, that like $400 mic, and I'm guessing he's probably using some kind of plugins too to make it less reverb and stuff. But maybe he is anyways. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, you would think in a big room like that he would get reverb, and just you would have that kind of
that mic
room
has
sound.
that mic has a built-in noise reduction too as well.
Okay.
So like
that could be it.
Really,
then, yeah. He used to use the NTG video mic though. I know that.
What's that?
I know he was using the NTG.
Yeah, he was for a while.
Mic, but
I think he was. So I talked to him. Now he has a dedicated A7S3, and his 24mm 1.4, and that ECM microphone. Like they're all dedicated. They all just stay on a tripod in his office. And then he has his vlogging A7S3 and his vlogging Sony mic. And I don't think I guess he only uses the 24mm now in the studio. When he's on the go, he typically uses the 16 to 35 G Master now. But yeah, I mean, so he just leaves the 24mm on the microphone or on the camera in his studio. Which is that's what I'm using right now for this.
Yeah,
I like this lens a lot. But man, I don't know. I'd want to bring it with me.
I'm just kind of realizing now you got some festive background going on there.
Yeah, you like my little Christmas tree?
Yeah. I remember you texted me that, but I kind of spaced on it, so I still got the same old background. I'm actually was supposed to paint this room this week, but I just kind of ran out of time. So
you've been trying to paint that room for like the last 6 months.
It's just the problem with painting a room like this is that you have to take everything out. I have to paint the one color, then I have to let it sit for like 2-3 days so I can tape it and paint the second color. And I say that because I've done it before too early, and then you go to peel the tape off, and it takes the paint with it. So, and then get everything back in, get everything set back up, and then at that point, you're not just bringing it in; you're organizing it, you're putting everything where it's supposed to be, you're throwing away trash, and that's going to take like a good week or two to just like solidly get this room done and reorganized. And I have to redo all these sound panels that I have on the walls, and so it's going to be a process. And I feel like I can't stop using the studio for a long enough period to make that work. So,
all right. So this question will be different for each of us. I know that each of us will have a different answer. So, Steve, if this was my one lens, I think you said A7S2, but I think you meant 3. If I got one lens for the A7S for vlogs and studio, I would be getting the Tamron 17 to 28. I like that it's a little bit lighter and it's not like super heavy. And it does have like a super wide, and then you can zoom it in to 28 millimeter. I really do like the 16 to 35 G Master, but that lens is a big, it's heavy, and I think it was funny. Matty Hapoya uses the 16 to 35, and I guess Tamron or somebody sent him a free Tamron 70 to 28 in his like one of his last videos, and he tested it out and he switched it, and you couldn't really, I mean, other than it being a little bit tighter than, you know, that 1 millimeter does make a little bit of a difference, but it still looked great. The autofocus works great. You just don't have as much zoom in, and you don't have, it's like slightly not as wide, but I take those sacrifices for the size and compactness of the lens. Now I think I know what your answer will be, but I'll let you answer your own.
Well, so I mean, like, what's your budget? Because that makes a big difference too. I think if you can spend $2,500 on a G Master lens, then yeah, that 1635 is a great lens. If you're looking for something under the like sub $1,000, it's I don't know. Vlogging is more than just pointing a camera at yourself to me. So you want something with good focal range, I feel like, with vlogging. So I would almost say the 28 to 70 Tamron or the 2470 Sigma for that, because you want the ability to zoom. And then also like studio, how compact is your studio? Like if you're like need to get the camera away from you. A lot of people like using that 35 millimeter look on studio. I know Paul used to use that at your
I still have it.
Like 24, you pretty much like right now I'm on the Sigma 16 right now, which is on the crop body. So this is the extent of a 24 millimeter, and I'm this far away from my camera.
Right.
So it's when I'm shooting at this desk here, I'm using the Sigma 2470, and that's only, I mean, I can reach the front of the lens, however that is. So I'm like arm length away. And that's my favorite lens because it's super sharp. It doesn't focus breathe a lot. But you can bring that thing outside. You can still vlog pointing at yourself. You can get pretty good focal range at 70. But if you need something that's way more than 70, I would say that 28 to 200 is pretty cool. That you have, Paul.
Yeah, I was super shocked by it. So the Tamron makes a 28 to 200. My wife wanted one lens to rule them all. She didn't want to swap out lenses when she shoots photography. She just wants to, and she likes a lot of zoom. But you know, there's a lot of times where you also want a mildly wide shot. So I got her this 28 to 200 lens, and she absolutely loves it. And I ended up kind of falling in love with it too, because like typically when you're shooting in some of those focal ranges, yeah, it goes up to 5.6, but at the same time, like if you're shooting outside and you're shooting a lot of landscapes or something, you're gonna want to crank up that aperture anyway. You're gonna want everything to be in focus. So, I mean, I think it's a great buy, and it's very sharp, and it's like $650, I think, when it's on sale. So
I saw one right now going for $500. I almost picked it up. I'm going to Denver this weekend, and I kind of want to I have like one day to go to the mountains, and so I'm like, do I get that 200 mil just to bring it with me? But Steve wrote he's currently shooting with a 7.5 millimeter.
that's like, so
stupid.
A 7.5 millimeter is the equivalent of a 15 millimeter for full frame.
Okay. So, because it's a crop. Okay. Yeah.
The micro four thirds is like you have to times it by 2 to get the full frame.
There's one, the thing with studio, because he said studio, I definitely want to say you probably are going to want something with a lower aperture, like a 2.8, so you can get more of these kind of blurred backgrounds, or like you're shooting on what 1.4 right now, Paul?
Yeah.
So like, if you want to have that kind of depth of field blur background in the studio, you're going to want to look at lenses with 2.8 or lower.
Yeah, like right
If
now I'm at
you,
1.4. That's why my
yeah,
background, like, but this is a
right,
really wide lens too. If I was shooting in like a 35 or a 50, you can get a little bit more blurriness. Like when I get that Tamron 28-75 and I'm shooting like 50 millimeter, like this far away from it, I can get a decent background blur because of how close the subject is and all that stuff. But Luke Draper, man, he loves Tamron lenses as well. So yeah, they're great. They're great lenses. Sony owns a piece of Tamron, so
mhm.
their autofocus is pretty on par. Especially these newer lenses they're putting out, dude. That 35. All right, one lens to rule them all. If you want to go all in, Steve, the 35 to 150 Tamron. Holy cow! If you had that lens and the 17 to 28, you would need nothing else. Those two lenses together would cover anything you could possibly
Yeah.
ever need. And f2 for a zoom, like a 35 millimeter f2. I mean, it's a gorgeous lens. It's about as heavy as the 24 to 70. I think it might be a little bit heavier, but it has a crazy range and f2. So
I haven't
great.
used this so much for studio use yet. I know it's going to be wider than my other one, but the Sony 20 millimeter, which is the f1.8
This
lens.
is the lens that I thought you were actually going to suggest for. Like, it's. I think it's a great vlog lens and a great in the studio lens. Like, it's a great all. It's not super wide. It's not super tight.
Hmm.
And
Well,
I really
you
wanted
don't
to
get
do a
that
video
weird
like
you don't get that weird barrel distortion with this one, like you get the 16 millimeter.
you're right.
Like a 16 or 35, you get that kind of curved edge, and if you're turning, you get that kind of just goofy, weird, wobbly thing that goes on.
And the focus
Um,
breathing is not nearly as bad as it is in this 24 millimeter.
okay, I guess I haven't noticed that one doing that so much, but these lenses look the same. I mean, they have a very similar look. They're built the same way. They have the same zoom mechanism, or like the focus mechanism inside the lens. For all practical purposes, this should be a G Master lens, I think.
I think so.
But
Yeah, but
this is like a $700-800 lens at full price. I paid like six something for it when I bought it.
they got on sale
Um,
and
yeah,
EQ. Mm-hmm.
but that's a hell of a lens if you really want something like stupid wide. But I mean, like because it's a 20 mil, that's all you get. So that's why personally I like more of the like 24 to 70 or 28 to 70 kind of focal range, because that's a good all around lens that you pretty much won't. I mean, you'll be able to get what you want out of the 70 millimeter. I mean, you'll probably at some point want something more like a 70 to 200 after that, but
And right now, like this is the time of the year to buy lenses too.
yep.
One of the times
Well,
of the year,
Sony,
because there's sometimes when Sony does crazy like fire sales at the big in like February, March time. But this is actually a decent time for a lot of other manufacturers. Like Tamron has like I think it's $100 off like most of their lenses right now.
Sony's got
Um,
a $300 off sale on some of theirs.
yeah, and so like right now, I mean, lenses are I like lenses are great investments because no matter if you change your camera in the future, you invest in a good lens, you stick with the same system, you're gonna have, that it's a good investment. It's you're not throwing away money. You're not, because you're gonna use that lens for the whole time you're on that system.
Mm-hmm.
So, and really the lenses are what give you the look. I mean, yes, the camera sensor does too, but
Yep.
for the most part, I mean, you put a great sensor on a crappy lens, you're not gonna,
Yeah,
Brad
and
Henderson, what's up, man?
and speaking lenses too. If you guys are looking at gifts for yourself or gifts for other people, like getting in some nice like budget ND filters are really nice. I saw there's that new Peter McKinnon one that just came out that's probably already sold out now, but those Freewall ND filters,
Oh yes, I love those.
like
Very
I'm still using the magnetic one, but you can get the like 2 to 5 for like 90 or like $100 right now, and then they have like the 2-pack 6 to 9 and 2 to 5 for like 198 or something like that. I saw the other
and
day.
if you can afford the magnetic ones, I at first I was like, I'm not sure, but now I'm kind of sold on. I love the magnetic ones. I think they're
Mhm.
great,
Well, they
especially the
come with the
new one with a
mist.
new case,
Yeah.
and the like the mist is like not nearly as thick on the. We got the pre-release one, and now the new that one that actually released. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the mist filter is pretty intense on this one.
Brad
The one
Henderson
thing,
said, like, because you shot with me, and you know that this is like a double edged sword right here. Is a Sony A7C considered more of a photo camera or video? And honestly, it's pretty much
it's a hybrid, yeah,
A7 III and a compact body with better autofocus and
and a flip screen.
and a flip out screen.
Yep.
So I would say that it's the best of both worlds. Only reason why it is not like people say it's not as as much of a photography camera is because the EVF is a little bit smaller. It's it's that you kind of it's not as comfortable to use as like the big EVF that's dedicated on the middle of the body, like the bigger full frame cameras. But I love it for photography because it's so small. Like I can throw it in my bag with like the 35 millimeter 1.8, and it's like the perfect just like one lens, one camera to just take with you to family barbecues, take with you to their birthday party, and you can get all that great shot with a small, compact little body. I don't know. I love the A7C. And for video, I think people jump to the A7S3. And I had this dilemma too. People jump to the A7S3 thinking, man, everybody's saying that's the video camera to get. Like, I got to get it because all the big YouTubers are using it. But it's realistically, if you don't shoot a lot of 60 frames a second and 120 like in full 4K, you would be perfectly fine getting the A7C, and it still has 120 frames per second in HD, which it's a little softer, but it still looks great. I would bet that most people wouldn't be able to tell the biggest difference between your A7 S3 and your A7C footage. If you're just doing a YouTube stuff, if you're just vlogging, if you're just, if you're not doing a lot of client work, I feel like there's not a huge need to jump to the A7 S3. Now, the A7 IV looks really great, and I can't wait to the A7C Mark II. I'm kind of wondering if Sony is going to do what they did before and take the guts of the A7 IV and dump it in and say that's the Mark II version with some corrections that they could make on this model. Or what if they still kept the same sensor but upgraded the processor inside and was able to maybe add in a lot of the same, like have the A7 IV features with the 4K 60 crop, but with the 24 millimeter like sensor versus a 33. I don't know. That I think that would be a very interesting move. Like, so I don't know that I've been thinking about that a lot lately too. Like, what if they kept the same 24 millimeter sensor, but by using a better processor was able to get like the new menu system, the 4K 60 with the crop, and have a lot of the same features of the A7 IV, but with a smaller sensor and a smaller body. I don't know. I feel like that would be a very interesting camera for the Mark II. But
yeah, so on the A7C, the thing I'll say first and foremost is the people who complain about the EVF tend to, if you ever watch them take photos, they probably don't use it anyways. So I shoot a lot of photography, and I barely ever use mine. I feel like the screens are really good, especially if you're using any like focus peaking. I always put like red focus peaking on my stuff. So if you're doing manual focus and stuff, plus you have the buttons on the back where you can do zoom in on your focus stuff. So I don't really use the EVF a lot. I mean, the screen is in a nice spot where you can get low angles, and when you're doing those, you're not looking at the EVF. So like I have my EVF on my A6400. I think I've looked through it twice. So, but the thing with that camera is that it has the newer color science. So it's a little bit different in that regard from the A7 III. It has better autofocus. It has a slightly better stabilization, and it has catalyst browse, I believe, right?
Yes, you can use catalyst browse.
Yep.
It has USB-C.
Yep. It's like a big upgrade to the A7 III, and the only reason that camera isn't as popular as it is that people were ready for the A7 IV, and they got that first.
Right.
They thought that we're going to be announcing the A7 IV, and then they're like, hey, here's another A7 III that's smaller, that's missing a couple features.
And the colors are better than the A7 III. Like
it's the new color science with Sony, so it'll be on par with like the A7S III and A7 IV. But the thing with that too is that, like if that camera would have not been coming out when the A7 IV was, and like a week after the A7 III was announced,
right.
A7S III, that camera would have done quite a bit better. I'm curious to see if they're going to continue it actually at all. I think it had to have probably sold better, maybe, but we'll see. Maybe they just come out. Maybe they kill off the APS-C line too, for all I know. But that camera is like Brad. It's Brad that was asking that, right?
Yeah,
if you've been really contemplating it for months, just go rent it. Like go to lensrentals.com and just rent it for a few days and see how you like it. That's the best way to find out.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can even buy the camera from them afterwards if you really want to. But that's what I've done with several cameras. Just like I'm not going to dump $2,000 into something, so I'll quick go rent it. If I
Right.
like it, then maybe I'll go dump $2,000 into it.
So what I would like to see in the Mark II version, I'd like to see a little bit bigger grip. Like I feel like with this cage that you bought me, the grip is now like I would say like pretty much perfect size. So they should probably extend the grip just a little bit more. So it's just a little more
or just make it more ergonomic,
right?
Because it doesn't have that like contour in it like it should.
If they added a second card slot, that would be cool. But I mean, the one card slot works for me most of the time. I'm not really too picky on that. What's the other thing I was going to say? Oh, I would like to see if they could add a dial also to the front of the grip so that you have a dedicated aperture dial and shutter dial. Because right now I use the back one as the aperture, and I use the shutter for the dial on the back. That's usually the ISO, and then if I want to change the ISO, I would press one of the side buttons, and then rotate the dial, and then press it again to exit out of the ISO. So that's kind of how I get around that with this camera. You just kind of know how its flaws are, but but I mean, it's a great camera, and it's really similar size to like the FX3. I mean, it's even smaller, but like that's small body. I don't know. I like it. I like it a lot.
Which is another camera that doesn't have an EVF at all, and you don't hear that. You don't hear anything about that. So, no, it's a great camera. I would just say if you really are contemplating and don't want to pull the trigger, go rent it first. You can rent that camera for like $75 for like a week. So, and then you can rent like a bomb ass lens to go with it and see if you like a lens too. Speaking of lenses, I rented that 10 to 18 lens, Paul, for the ZV-E10.
Yeah.
I love that lens on the A7S III. If you have it at 10, you get the crazy vignetting, but if you turn it to 12, it looks normal. So it's
essentially a 12. You can get that lens and have a 12 millimeter full frame look.
Full frame f4 and you can put ND filters on it. It is dumb how wide it is on a 12 millimeter. Like it'll be good for like good product, like real estate and stuff like that. But
really great for real estate. Yeah.
But that lens is only like $600-700 versus like anything else like that 12 to 24.
The 12 to 24 f4. It's not only expensive, but it's also heavy and huge.
And it has a convex it's a bubble lens, so you can't put ND filters on it either.
And and like you said, you can put ND filters on that 10 to. Well, another great lens to get would be the Tamron 11 to 20. I would love to try that lens. So see if
I looked at that. So the thing is if you look at the back of the Sony lens when you take the cap off, it's kind of like a Sigma lens. I don't have one here, where it's like it's a full circle element, versus a lot of the other ones you take off the back and you'll see that like kind of oval, the sensor shape. And if it has that sensor shape, it won't quite work. Like you might have to zoom in more to get it to be wide. I've had that on a couple other lenses I've tried on the A7S III. I wish
the Fogel. There's a guy, Brad Fogel has that Tamron 11 to 20, and sometimes he's here with us, but I don't think I haven't seen him here yet tonight. But if he was in here, I would totally ask him about that. But yeah,
I didn't shoot anything. I got some just like scrap footage when I was using the lens with the other camera on the A7S III, and I was gonna kind of do a video with it, but I had to send it back right away. So
Luke asked a funny question. Have I used the Crane M3 with the A7C? No, not yet. If I can find one, I would. I know that somebody here is going to be getting one sometime, right?
I'm supposed to have it on Sunday. I'll be out of town, but yeah.
So maybe I have to fly to Minnesota just to test.
So I mean, feel free to send me $74 to rent the A7C for a week, and I'll do that video for you.
But I mean, I or maybe Kyle can be like, yo, Zayun, you like this? I got a buddy that has a A7C that wants to do some videos on it.
I mean,
it would be a
you
pretty cool
you know
camera.
who I went through, so
Yeah. Mr.
no,
Ambassador
it's
himself.
well, the
Yeah.
thing the thing with that M3 crane M3 is that everyone keeps doing the same video. They're like, look at me carry my A7S3 on top of the M3 crane. It's like, okay, we get it. It can carry a full frame camera. How about let's get a video of it on a APS-C camera or
Well, I haven't seen very
ZV-1
many
or
people use the A7C on that camera on that gimbal yet.
I've seen
And
a
that's probably
couple,
why
but
Luke is asking about it, because like everybody, like you said, is doing like the bigger cameras. Or I think Jason Vong has a video where he did put the A7C on the M3, but I think he's like the only person that I've seen do that.
it's going to be a good fit. I mean, it's like the whole idea with that Crane M3 and the Crane M2, it's supposed to be for APS-C and like the ZV-1. And that's no one's doing videos with those. it's like they only sent it to big creators who only shoot full frame.
Right.
So I'm getting that thing, and I'm going to do a video with the ZV-1 and the ZV-E10 and maybe the A6400. Which
do you still have the ZV-E10?
Yep.
How long do you have it for?
I bought it.
Oh, you bought it?
Yeah.
You didn't tell me this.
No, the lens went back, but well, that and also like the A6400 body is for all practical purposes the same as the A7C. They're about the same weight, they're the same size.
You're shooting on, are you still shooting?
This
your
is the
A6 on the
this is the
64?
yeah, this is 6400. Yeah.
Well, because
So
I'm just asking because I know that the ZV-E10 has the little just go out the USB and done.
Yep. Well, that's same with this one, but the that Crane M3 is going to be cool. Like I said, I haven't touched it, so I don't know what to expect, but it looks kind of like the motors from the Weeble S, so I know what those are like. The Weeble S is like a perfect gimbal for the A7C, as well as the A6400s and stuff. That's what you have too, but you have the Weeble S on your side, right?
So I do, and my buddy that we're gonna have on the live stream in the next few weeks, he messaged me the other day and said, "Hey, do you have any need for a DJI RC2?" And I'm like, I don't know. I've never compared it to the Weeble S. But he said he would pretty much give it to me if I wanted to. He said he has no need for it anymore. He bought it for like a few things and for a business write off, and he said he would just give it to me. And I'm like, wow, yeah, I mean, I'll take it if you want to. I mean, I'd love to compare it to the Weeble S, but have you ever used the RC2?
My friend has one. I've seen it, but I haven't physically used it itself. So I think really the only, I don't know, the one is a better ergonomic for being able to do this and tip it down and go underslung mode on the Weeble S.
Right.
And the RC2 has that function, but you have to kind of screw with
yeah.
It's a weird thing. I want to say DJI has the software. If you use your phone, you can use tracking.
Yeah, you could like turn it, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, like if you put the phone on top of your camera and run the phone in through the Wi-Fi on your camera, you can tap track like you do on like the drones and stuff.
Yeah.
So then you could just like run and like let the camera control the gimbal's movement and stuff like that. So that's one really nice thing. I know the M3 is going to have some kind of tracking at some point. That's what I've been told, at least. It's not there yet though, or it's the image track. I don't know.
They're making an image module for it, but it's a separate module. Is the DJI is built into the actual gimbal when you put the phone on top of it, right?
Yeah, so they're making a separate module, but it sounds like they're going to add tracking to it as well. That's just what I heard from State Park. Anyways,
no, they are.
DJI,
so told me the same thing. I mean, and they do it. I mean, they had had an external module for the Weeble S too, but it was external. Like I think the Ronins, they all have it just built into it just kind of links up through the app, and then you put your phone on top of it, and that's what helps track the phone. Is what the brain is that does the brains for the tracking. Where like with Zune, they have the extra module that you have to buy, but. Luke says he has the S, and it's a bit. Yeah, I mean the S is huge. The S is just a ginormous one. The S and the S2 are they're big. This one is the RC2. So I don't know. Yeah, the
I don't know.
S.
My Weeble S doesn't seem. I mean, it's compact for pretty much as compact as you're going to get on a gimbal, other than the thing that sticks
Weeble S?
out. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
would
think it's really that much smaller than the M3 or bigger, but it doesn't have the M3 doesn't have that.
The handle.
The M3 doesn't have this part on here, so it's going to be the rest of this. If like you were to take this part off, like that would be what the gimbal is. The only thing with that other one is it doesn't have as much forward and back. Like the longer, okay, let me rephrase this.
And the head
longer,
is not as big, so you couldn't fit as big of a camera as you can with the Weeble S.
Yep. The longer these arms are, the more stable it's going to be, and the more movement and smooth you're going to get. The shorter they are, the more so the new one's going to be good, but it's not going to be like stupid buttery smooth or anything like that either. And this isn't either. I think if you want something even better than this, that's where the like Crane S2 and stuff comes in play. So, but I don't know. This has been my favorite gimbal still. That's why I haven't sold it and bought anything new, because it's perfect for whatever I use it for.
I mean, I don't even use my gimbal all that much. I mean, I just use it for if I need to, do a real estate shoot, or if I need to follow somebody with a camera. I mean, those are the only times I really ever pull it out. I don't use it for my YouTube stuff that often.
I do want a gimbal for this. I tried that Crane M2 a long time ago. I liked that. So that's why when the Crane M3 came out, I'm glad I'm getting one, because that's primarily what I'd like to try to use this one for, is like the smaller point and shoot stuff. So
what do you say about this question?
Yeah, I mean, at least it's going to be the best time of year to do it. Things are cheaper. So
I mean, does Zhiyun have the M3 on sale for Black Friday, or this
probably not? The problem with this year is that a lot of the big stuff that is unavailable is like, there's no reason to discount them when they're not available.
Right, but they're not going to discount them because they can't. I would say this has been the least amount of discounts for Black Friday or this time of the holiday season, just because there's a shortage of so many different things.
Yeah. The Crane M3 is set at $369, which I think might be a little too expensive for that gimbal, but we'll see.
I mean, I'd rather buy a Weeble S2 and have it for, save the money and get it $330. I think you can get it for, and probably can get them used now for, a lot cheaper than that too. So I don't know.
And that is not the kit that includes any of the microphone and stuff like that either.
The microphone's a little, I don't know.
I could care less about that microphone. I don't know. The gimbal would be nice if it ends up being small and I can put it in like my camera bag. That's gonna be sweet, because gimbals are really tough to put inside of camera bags, just because they're awkwardly shaped and they never fit right. And this one looks like it might be similar as well, but and it's also on pre-order, so there's no Black Friday sale on it right now because it's not even being sold.
Right.
So
it's not out yet.
There's one thing, if you guys are looking at gifts too for like non-big DSLR or mirrorless cameras, Moment, if you know Moment, Paul, right? Like shop Moment. So the website's shopmoment.com. They have like a whole like gift buying guide that's like 15 gifts for photographers, where it's like pouches and cases and straps and lenses and covers and stuff like that. And that's, if you're shooting on those new iPhone 13s, I would go check out Moment, because they have a lot of cool stuff for those phones now coming out. They have a nice little accessory guide that's be good for gifts, because a lot of their stuff's gonna be under like $50. And because really, there's not, if you guys are looking for gifts for people for photography and videography, like other than like SD cards and like microphones and stuff like that, there's not a lot out there. I guess this is one thing I bought this week too, Paul.
That's a really cool. I wouldn't mind having that. That looks like a really solid,
The
tripod.
47 is Arca Swiss, so you would want to get the quick release one. But this thing is like my new favorite little handheld thing that extends. Doesn't extend out much, but it's enough. It's actually as tall as my Joby I'm sitting on right now, the 5K. But it's like, this thing is really, it's everything's like kind of stiff on this thing, and it's not cheap feeling at all. And It's like $40 or something like that too. So
Yeah, Luke said he wanted so Luke, it sounds like Luke has the A7 III and he wants to upgrade to the A7C and get a little bit of a smaller gimbal to have a little smaller package. Yeah, I mean, like I said, yeah, the A7C is great for. I use it for real estate stuff all the time. So
I mean, now is gonna be the best time to get rid of that camera too, because prices are gonna be not gonna get any better on if you're wanting to sell that camera, A7 III,
yeah,
because
it's
they're gonna go down.
surprising how the resale value of the A7 III right now is still pretty darn good.
Well, people are asking too much for them still, but
Yeah.
like right now on my Facebook, there's like 3 of them on there for $1,900. I'm like, A, I can buy that cheaper on like B&H
Right.
new, and like B, the cameras, you should be selling it for about 13 to 14 probably, in a realistic sense.
And it's funny too because like and it's always tempts me, but I don't want to do it. But like I feel like I could sell my A7 S3 and make a ton of money right now. I've seen people who are I saw a guy that said he was willing to trade his FX3 for an A7 S3 like a direct trade. And that's like you get the audio handle and everything with that. It was very tempting for me, but I do like the EVF on the A7S3. Like I use it enough that I would rather have,
Yeah, I used mine a couple times when we were in Duluth or Two Harbors. I don't know, the screens are pretty nice on there too, and when you have tap tracking and stuff like that, it's almost just as nice to do. A lot of times I'll tap track when I'm looking at it, then I hit the manual focus button, so then it just locks on that. So, so at that point, I'm not really looking through VF, but I used it a couple times when it was really sunny out. That's kind of the only time I ever really use it is when you can't even see the screen because
right.
it's just too darn sunny. But
yeah, I mean, Steve, if we should try to get together. You could use my switch pod, and it's fun. It's a good little setup for sure. I think the ones that entice me now are the switch pod, that Mantis pod from PGY Tech looks pretty cool, and then the one that you have that Ulanzi, the 46, because
46 and 47, yeah.
Is that 47?
47 is the Arca, 40 Swiss. 46 is the like quick release one.
Yeah, the 47 is one I would go for.
Yeah, the 46 isn't the one you use the Manfrotto quick release. So this is the
46 is like their own proprietary thing.
Well, no, it's like that one is like it's like the what's that brand called? Peak Design, like twist clip one.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, I think so.
Design is the Arca.
Well, it's like a square Arca though. It's not. It's that kind that like clips and twists or whatever. But I mean, maybe they'll come out with a Manfrotto one as well. The only thing I kind of, I don't know, like I like it and I don't, is that the Arca is this small.
Wow,
it's tiny. It's like, but then they have those little screws on the bottom that are to hold it from falling off, But the problem is sometimes you take them off, you take the camera off, and you just want to set it on like the ground, and then that thing doesn't want to sit right. So yeah, I mean you could replace this, but also like on the ZV-1, this thing's awesome because it fits on there and it doesn't take up any room. But I'm using it right now. I have like a big rectangle one that doesn't have those little screws on the bottom, so it sits flat, and that's kind of nice. But yeah, those things are nice for under $50 purchases. The switch pod's like $100, I think, right now still.
Yeah,
100. Most people still hybrid them
with the ball head.
Yeah, some people will still hybrid them with the Joby ball heads. If you look on Amazon, there's actually a bunch of like small rig and Ulanzi ball heads now that are pretty nice.
Pretty nice, yeah.
They're, I'd say, on par with the Joby ones. The one thing I like about Joby is that you have one knob just to turn the rotation, like the pan, and then one knob just for the ball. Sometimes those ones will have two knobs for the ball head, which I've never understood.
Yeah.
My tripod's the same way. But that Peak Design, or no, Polar Pro has a really cool tripod handheld too. That most people will switch the Joby thing on as well. And those are the ones that you have to like unscrew the legs and like put them where you want it and then screw them down. So they're like super heavy duty if you're putting weight on them. But I don't know.
Yeah. So I mean, at the end of the day, the big things we talked about today are just, hard drives, SD cards, big things to look for, camera straps, possibly camera bags, and yes, if you're in the market for an A7C, you need to do it, and I need to make more videos on the A7C. I know. I'm sorry. So I'm meaning to get on that. I'm gonna get on that ball. I need to, really do. Once my back gets back.
Well, you did have a nice Disney one that I kind of helped tank for you because those videos were supposed to go hand to hand, and my footage just looks like garbage, and I just don't want to showcase it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I could do something with it, but I don't know. We'll see. At this point, it's been so long. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not like you can't go to Disney.
But I mean, we had a great Sigma video, so I like that. That was fun. Oh, I like shooting people. It's fun. It's a lot. It's more motivating too. More motivating for sure. Any closing thoughts for the Black Friday deals and recap of holiday gifts?
Yeah, I mean, good gifts are going to be under $50. I would try to check some of the websites like B&H and like Shop Moment and all those things. A lot of times they'll have gift guides. Otherwise, just turn on YouTube in the next 2 weeks, and you'll see as many gift guides buying guides as you want.
I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of them on the vlog.
Go check out Chris and Becky. They have a website, chrisandbecky.com. Otherwise, their YouTube channel. They always have a really fun one they put together every year. That's some related to camera stuff. Some is just like living and house stuff, which is kind of nice. And I think they actually have a lot of their own merch they're putting out now.
They are,
which looks kind of cool. So if you guys haven't checked out Chris and Becky, go check out their stuff. They do some just phenomenal videos. They just did like a 5-part series of a helicopter.
So good.
Like vlogging camping tour.
Heading east or something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, they always have a fun gift guide every year or stuff that you would be like, oh, I like those. I'll get that for my wife. So it's and that's not all camera related too. So
right.
If I put together a video this year, Paul, I might do a gift guide pack. I'm gonna try to do a little bit of non-camera stuff as well in mine.
Well, you're gonna probably throw in your clothing there.
Your Cuts clothing.
Your Klutz clothing.
Well, you guys missed that sale. I think that sale is over now, but you could check. But Cuts clothing had 30% off, which was a great time to buy from them, being as expensive a brand they are. So
you're a bourgeoisie man now.
I was gonna do a funny meme photo that was. I have the same sweatshirt got sent to me that Peter McKinnon has for his ad. And I was going to do I might not be as cool as Peter McKinnon, but at least I have the same sweatshirt or something like that. And then just do the 2 side-to-side photos, which would have been kind of funny. But
all right, well, it's been a great night. We're going to end this out here tonight. We don't want to go on too long these days. We're trying to keep it at right in about an hour, so we were a little bit over that. So thank you guys for joining us with us. Thanks, Steve. Thanks to Luke. Wish you the best of luck in finding that A7C. And it's a great camera, so at least rent it and try it out, see what you think. But thanks for joining us. Thanks for hanging out with us. You guys know that I will see you in the future, and go check out Kyle Watts' channel. Links are all down in the description. Make sure you subscribe, because eventually, one day, we're going to start our creator camp, live stream, and we'll be rotating between both of our channels for that. So,
I did shoot some B-roll for that this week. I don't know if you saw it in my last video.
Ooh, oh, I did. Yeah, I did see the canoes and everything.
Some campy stuff. It's not like summer vibes so much, but we'll get there.
We'll get there. And so stay tuned, guys. Be looking for that camera camp, creator camp. Sorry, that was my shameless plug. Eventually, we'll get there. But anyways, thanks for hanging out with us tonight, and we'll catch you guys later. See you, Kyle.
One shot, now the future is yours. Go! One shot for the kill, the breeze come freeze up, straight dropping the chills. I'm talking taking over pieces and shares. A bomb break sky high, check the movement is here. Yeah, it's one heart, one shot, now the future is yours. Go!